he would miss the college. But there were consolations, perhaps. He was subject to none of the pressures about moving to somewhere nearer the children, since his marriage to Lady Muriel had been sine pro. Moreover, Lady Muriel had been in her grave these past 3 years. Furthermore, he would be able to sit back and survey with sardonic amusement the infighting that would doubtless arise among his potential successors. It was the duty of the Fellows' Appointments Committee to stipulate 3 conditions for those seeking election as master. First, that any candidate should be of sound mind and in good health. Second, that the candidate should not have taken holy orders. Third, that the candidate should have no criminal record within the territories administered under the governance of his or her most glorious majesty. Such stipulations amused the master. Presumably, convictions for murder, rape, sodomy, or treason were to be discounted if shown to have taken place outside the jurisdiction of his or her most glorious majesty. Very strange. Strangest of all, however, was the absence of any mention in the statutes of academic pedigree. Theoretically, there could be no bar to a candidate presenting himself with only a grade E in GCSE media studies. Nor was there any stipulation that the successful candidate should be a member of the college. On this occasion, however, outsiders seemed out of favour. In the senior common room, the consensus was most decidedly in favour of internal preferment, since the college itself could offer at least 2 candidates, each of whom would make an admirable choice. Both had been considered worthy of mention in Debrett's People of Today. Storrs, Julian Charles, born 9th of July 1935, educated Christ's Hospital, Emmanuel College, Cambridge, B.A., M.A. Married Angela Miriam Martin, 31st March 1974. Career, Captain, R.A., Indian Army Reserve, Pitt Rivers Reader in Social Anthropology, and Senior Fellow, Lonsdale College, Oxford. Recreations, playing bridge, taking taxis. Was the Senior Fellow of Lonsdale so affluent that he could afford to take a taxi everywhere? Did he never travel by car, coach, or train? Well, certainly on special occasions he would travel by train. Oh yes, as we shall see. Cornford, Denis Jack, born 23rd of April 1942. Educated Wiggiston Grammar School, Leicester, Magdalen College, Oxford, M.A. D.Phil. Married Shelley Ann Benson, 28th of May 1994. Career, University Reader in Medieval History and Fellow Lonsdale College, Oxford. Recreations, kite flying, cultivation of orchids. Why was Dr. Cornford so recently converted to matrimony? Had he met some worthy woman of comparable age? Oh no, as we shall see. Denis Cornford, omnium consensu, was a fine historian with a mind both sharp and rigorously honest. Best known for a monograph in which he maintained that the Battle of Hastings had taken place in 1065. In the Trinity term of 1994, Cornford had taken sabbatical leave at Harvard, and 6 months later, to the amazement of his colleagues, had returned with a mature student who had just gained her master's degree in modern American history. Not all that mature, though. She was 26, exactly half the age of her new husband. It is not likely that Shelley would have reached the semi-final of any Miss Massachusetts beauty competition. Her jawline was slightly too square, her legs perhaps a little on the sturdy side. Yet no one could doubt what Cornford had seen in her. Her shoulder-length brown hair framed a face in which the widely set, dark brown eyes seemed, sometimes, to convey the half-promise of intimacy. From the start, Shelley Cornford was lusted after. Her husband envied. And Denis Cornford said nothing when, 3 months later, at the end of term Gordy, he noticed beneath the table the left hand of Julian Storrs pressed briefly against Shelley's right thigh, as she sat drinking rather a lot of Madeira, after drinking a lot of red wine. The laughing pair leaning together in some whispered exchange. Cornford sought to make little of it. It was perhaps perfectly harmless. Yet he knew he ought to have said a few words. Well, at least it's left on time. Give it a chance.